Welcome to Habershire, a small but not so humble hamlet in the English countryside. Who you know and who your family are is extremely important, but not so important as having a good reputation. But all importance of background and reputation pale in consideration of how much money you have. Today we open on the end of a play. As the curtain falls, we find ourselves in the grand ballroom of one Imogen Galloway, a 19-year-old socialite from great peerage and family money, who's a cornerstone keeping her family together. She's also a great patron of the arts and has provided her grand ballroom for a new play from local playwright Eustace Chesterfield XV, a rival playwright of one Nellie Flintstone, a 17-year-old up-and-comer who loves the arts and not much else. We find all of good society here at this play, as the amusements in Habershire are few and far between, mostly balls and dinners, but everyone loves a good show. We also find here Ignatius Lockhart, a 21-year-old, bit of a cad, to be honest. Georgina Lockhart, his younger and most devoted sister, recently returned from the parts elsewhere. And one dour figure, Magnus Fitzgerald, a military man with probably a frown on his face to see such festivities take place. As the curtain falls, applause swells, and we'll visit each of our characters to see where they are at the end of the show. Let's start with Miss Imogen, aka Persephone Valentine, the one and only.
Hi.
Who's going to tell us what her grand ballroom looks like and where we can find her at the end of the night's amusements.
So, the grand ballroom of my palatial estate, if I should put it that way modestly, is made of white marble with rising Grecian columns interlined with ivy in a tasteful fashion. After all, we wouldn't want to appear nouveau riche, would we? No. I stand at the edge of a balcony that oversees the ballroom, which is where those of the most highest in society are allowed to sit. Being invited up here is a great boon socially, and therefore I must be careful at who I give the privilege to. I am about 19 years old, getting up there in years, needing for good marriage, I know. But I have long curly hair, which is completely up in a very immaculate but very modest bun, a high-waisted purple, one might say lavender if you're fancy, gown with tasteful silver jewelry, because wearing gold is very, how do we put it, flashy these days, even though I look better in it. But we don't want to talk about that, do we? No. One must do what one must, make sacrifices for trends and fashion of a tasteful manner, especially if one is a patron of the arts.
Lovely, quite lovely. Next, we go to Nellie Flintstone, who, scandalously, was recently engaged to Imogen.
Do we have to talk about that?
But broke off the engagement, much to the talk of the town, sadly tanking poor Nellie's reputation. Nellie, you are at this play. Where do we find you?
Well, hello. No, I'm not doing great, actually. The play was a total disaster. I would have done a much better job. And quite honestly, it was stolen from material that I wrote. In my opinion, a lot of my plays are about romance, and this was a romance play also. And I'm furious. I'm honestly furious. This should not be happening to me. I couldn't marry Imogen. So what, my whole life is destroyed now?
Very good. Okay, we move over the sweeping ballroom from a fuming, frustrated Nellie to one Ignatius Lockhart, who I imagine is clapping furiously.
Oh, a standing ovation. I love the culture of the theater. There are tears in my eyes. I was moved by this performance. And you will find that I have only had one drink this evening because I do not want to make a scene. The scene at the theater is left best to the actors. But I am standing and cheering and daubing my eyes because, oh, what a performance.
What do we see you wearing, Ignatius?
Oh, one of those collars that go up so high it pushes my cheeks. My hair is long and unkempt, but has a nice bounce to it. And I have one of those... I'm just looking at the picture of the Hedonist role in the character handouts, and I'm wearing that exact jacket. I don't know how it would be described. I have removed my my white gloves so that my applause might be louder, because I've found that those tend to muffle the applause, and I do want to make sure that my applause is heard.
Thunderous applause.
Thunderous, yes. Encore, bravo, bravissimo. Yeah.
From the handsome Ignatius, a son of new money and known as a bit of a hedonist around town. Also, there's a rumor going around that he has a massive gambling debt. Whether that
guilty.
rumor proves true, we shall see.
We'll see.
Next, we go to the shining eyes of young 17-year-old Georgina Lockhart, youngest sister of Ignatius. Where do we find you?
Well, you find me seated beside my brother, who's making quite a scene with his very thunderous applause. And while Georgina initially does rise to the occasion and join him in his uproarious cheering for this fantastic performance that we have just recently witnessed, her eyes are also furiously darting about the ballroom from behind her very lovely and modest lace fan as she's searching for someone in particular. You see, it's been 12 years since Georgina's been amongst the company of the folks in this town, and she is most anxious to become reacquainted with one Nellie Flintstone. She's arrived this evening in a beautiful white ball gown, adorned with golden trim and golden jewelry, her hair all arranged on top of her head in glorious golden curls, and an array of feathers.
Ooh, quite lovely. Yes, Georgina Lockhart, the talk about town, has come from New Money. The Lockharts are from New Money, and there's a rumor about both of them that it's blood money. Ooh, but who cares? Money stained with blood or not is good enough for the likes of us. And still further into the crowd we push to find the upright figure of Magnus Fitzgerald, a career military man of the prominent Fitzgerald family. Magnus, where do we find you?
Standing very much in the back, as far as I can, back pressed against the wall. You see Magnus, perfect military corner, red coat, extremely fine, perfectly buttoned in every single way, freshly shaven that day as he is every single day, not a single hair out of place. But when Ignatius invited him out under the false pretenses that they'd be getting a nice supper at a very estimable restaurant, he decided to throw caution to the wind and allow one little curl to come down his forehead, making himself very debonair and dashing. And now that he's found himself in this very free-spirited establishment, he is trying desperately to fix the hair so that it is all square again. I tried at intermission to get Ignatius to leave with me. He simply refused, and so now I'm standing in the back doing my best to not applaud but look like I am. I want to give no help to this noise, but I want to be polite. So it's just hands coming as close together as possible.
All of our characters are young, rich, and probably hot, but I'll leave that up to your own imaginations and tastes. And all of our characters today in this Jane Austen novel we'll be creating together have a desire that they're very much trying to achieve. Let me just go around and actually introduce everybody. We've got Brian Flaherty, who's your usual GM for this show. Nathan Yaffe.
Hello. Hi.
Emma Fife.
Hello.
Katie Maravich.
Hi.
Persephone Valentine.
Hi.
Wow.
Must heighten the bit.
Voice.
I know, right?
Oh my
Great
goodness.
speaking voice. Hi, everybody.
And me, your GM for today, your facilitator for today, Carolyn Page. The curtain has fallen, the applause has died down, and now the Tarn moves out into the sparkling, warm, late spring garden of Imogen Galloway's palatial estate. There's a small table with refreshments, tasteful punch, plenty of alcohol and food for anyone who wants some, and then lots of little copses and little benches and bushes for secret meetings, but don't get caught having a secret meeting because it could cause a scandal. So now we go into the after party of the play, which usually goes on late into the night. Nellie, you find yourself perhaps staring into the punch bowl, furious about the actors and your work being taken.
Yes.
As Eustace, the playwright himself, comes up to you. Oh, Miss Flintstone, good
What?
evening.
Yeah, whatever. Good evening. Yeah, whatever. I'm a 17-year-old girl.
Well, I'm 24, so much older and worldly than you.
So,
Gosh, you bring out the most childish ways in me. What did you think of the show this evening?
it was a total rip-off of my play, The Angel's Glass Foot.
The Angel's Glass Foot, that piece of trash. I saw that last spring when you produced it here at Imogen's. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't bring up that name. Probably a bit of a sore spot after you. Well, why did you break off the engagement anyways?
Well, that's getting quite personal very quickly. I could not marry Imogen because I did not love her. And also, I can't have a woman around while I'm doing art. You know, it disrupts me. I need to focus. She's always talking, you know? I got to be alone with my art.
Well, alone with your art you shall be, and I shall leave you alone now. Enjoy your drinks.
I hope to have many.
He storms off in a huff, leaving Nellie to look around the party.
And Nellie is kind of like, whoa, what did I just say? I probably shouldn't have said that. That's going to get me canceled. I think that's what Nellie's thinking.
I would like to use, in this game that we're playing today, there are things called resolve tokens, which each of our characters have. So I'm going to use a resolve token from Eustace to make Magnus Fitzgerald I'm going to offer you, Magnus, a resolve token, which you can accept or refuse.
Yes.
To go over and try and maybe convince Nellie that it's best that her playwriting days are behind her, perhaps.
Easiest acceptance in the world.
Okay.
Nellie, you are staring at the punch bowl. You're trying to figure out what's happening after this altercation. Magnus has spotted this over the way and has kind of listened in. He had heard the name, the Angel's Glass Foot, over and over and over from Ignatius over the past 3 months. He brings it up every time they're together, and Magnus has been trying to get Ignatius out of this kind of world. So he comes up to you and goes, Nellie,
What?
is it?
Yeah, it's Nellie. What?
I just wanted to impart to you that I thought it was such a wise decision for you to give up this hobby and allow someone else more worldly to do it instead. I think it's a lovely choice for you to find a more noble profession than this fibble fabble that you've been doing. And you know what? I think it's gonna be great. I see great things for you in your future, respectable things for you in your future.
I don't know why people keep saying I'm not worldly. Just because I'm very rich, extremely sheltered, and I've never left this town does not mean I'm not worldly.
It seems like you've stumbled into the definition of unworldly. But yes, I see what you mean. I may have overstated. I would like to impart to you a bit of advice from someone just slightly more worldly than you, if you will take it, if you will have it from me.
Fine, maybe it'll help my writing.
Stop writing. That's the advice. I think what has it gained you? What has it gained you? Nothing. You don't need this. Choose something else. Music, perhaps. A very respectable profession.
I mean, I do have a violin. I could try that, but it's just playwriting and my plays are really the only thing I have. They're the only thing I'm good at, and they get me a lot of attention.
When you say they're the only thing I have, Magnus looks behind you and sees your giant carriage being waiting out in the parking lot. Just kind of slowly turns his head to the carriage. Slowly turns his head back to you.
I have literally nothing without
a second
my
carriage
plays.
pulls up.
You truly do have nothing, don't you, Nellie? And Imogen is going to walk over.
Ooh!
Imogene,
I see you got my invitation, Nellie.
thank you for extending it.
So lovely of you to come. I thought you would like to see what your betters are doing.
Nellie is extremely hurt by this because of their past relationship.
Magnus is just slowly backing up. Ew.
Imogene,
Nellie,
I thought we'd be able to keep this cordial, but I see you can't.
of course I'm keeping it cordial.
Still bitter about the breakup?
I invited you. It does appear that you have nothing left, Nellie.
Okay, that was rude. Imogene, I've done nothing other than break off our engagement. I don't really deserve that, do I?
I think you said it all in one, didn't you? And I can see that you've met Eustace, who is now I'm now the patron of.
Eustace waves from over by the food. He's got a little
Eustace-
canapé halfway through his mouth and gives a cordial wave to Imogene.
Oh, he's got food all over his face. Yeah, he seems like a great playwright.
Luckily, his talent outpaces his manners, doesn't it? I wish that I could say the same for you.
I think this is Magnus's nightmare because he knows everything that's happening. He also hasn't been introduced and doesn't want to be rude. So he's just standing there very straight, just kind of watching a conversation, but not participating in it, just being like,
Dearest Magnus, it is so lovely to see you again.
Ah, Miss Galloway. Lovely event thing.
Oh, did you truly enjoy yourself? I know I've heard that you are not the biggest fan of the theater.
I do not find it as amusing as my brother, but it has some charms for some people, I suppose.
Are you sure you're not excited? I happened to be looking and saw a bit of joy pass your face when you saw the fight scene.
I confess that I'm so close to hitting my southern accent. I'm trying to not do it.
I was wondering when this is
right
going to happen.
there.
All roads lead to Foghorn Leghorn.
All roads lead to Foghorn Leghorn. This is just where I'm going to go. I do confess that when I saw blades drawn, I was unaware that such a thing happened on stage. However, it was pure poppycock what I saw on that stage. The stances that those fellows took would never pass muster in my regiment.
Well, then perhaps you'd have some interest in training our actors in proper stance.
Magnus kind of like leans back and goes, damn it.
As you know, I don't pride myself on a great many vices, but I do believe that the arts are one of the few valuable ones that one can put one's effort into. And if you notice some faults with the actors, I would be amiss if I did not ask if you would assist.
Ellie is getting, what's my name?
Nelly.
Close.
Ellie. No. Nellie is getting pretty upset by this, obviously. And so she says, excuse me, I've actually
You're
got...
excused.
I didn't mean it like that, and you know it. I've got a new play coming out called The Timber Swindler. And it's about a man who swindles timber. It's going to be fantastic. I just need a place to put it up.
Yes, perhaps you can swindle some money to get it funded. Dearest
Oh, you
Magnus,
know my father has money.
I know that your father doesn't support your dreams, which is why I support them as your fiancé.
Magnus desperately needs to cut this tension, so he's just going to give it. I would be happy to help your fellows learn proper military technique as long as they are willing to train in under my tutelage and instruct properly. If you're going to be putting swordplay on that stage, it might as well be done correctly into my standards.
That is so generous of you, and it will be lovely to spend some more time with you.
Nellie just goes
yes.
like this.
She bats her eyelashes a little bit too hard. She's turning red. It seems like this is very uncharacteristic for her. She's trying very hard. She's very sweaty.
Observing this from across the room, Georgina turns to her brother and kind of like tugs on his sleeve a little bit and says,
Yes.
Brother,
Yes, darling sister.
is that not Lieutenant Fitzgerald with whom you spent the majority of your childhood whilst I was away? It seems to me that he has made Miss Flintstone most distressed. You simply must go in there and intervene.
Oh, yes, of course. I wouldn't want anyone to be distressed on such a lovely evening.
And I shall join you.
Great! More the merrier. They are all around the Punch Bowl, which is where I was headed anyway.
I think Magnus spots Ignatius coming. He immediately sees an out and then spots Georgina next to him and just kind of goes, oh. It's kind of like a rock and a hard place type thing. But he sees Ignatius kind of like, oh, Ignatius, you said we'd be off after just one drink of punch. I have had my requisite punch, and I think we should make our leave.
You know I say a lot of things. I can't get this guy out of the house if you don't lie a little bit about what you're doing. He's very particular. You didn't even know we were going to a play this evening,
That's
did you?
because you lied to me. You
Yes, I
lied directly
lied to
to
you
my
a lot.
face. And I choose to trust you.
I put an arm around him and do like a bro-y arm punch thing.
He's just trying to make sure that the uniform doesn't get mussed. He's just kind of looking around like, Ignatius, stop, Ignatius!
This one.
Certainly, my
punch.
brother would not lie, as he is a most upstanding gentleman, aren't you?
Yes, of course. Sorry. Lie is the wrong word. I am merely creative with my use of words in order to achieve the desired result.
He's extremely creative with the truth as well. So much so that it has lost all meaning for him.
This punch is delicious.
Sir Ignatius, this is your sister.
Yes, indeed. Georgina is fresh to town and looking to make acquaintances. Isn't she lovely?
Indeed, it is such an honor to be back here at this lovely estate. Why, you must be Miss Galloway. I don't know if you recall, but we were girls together before I left with my parents some 12 years ago. It is most delightful to be back in your lovely home.
Imogene looks even sweatier. And this is something you should know about Imogene is that she likes to plan things. And if things even go the slightest bit awry, it's bad. I do indeed remember you, Georgina. I remember that we grew up together with Nellie. Indeed.
Oh, yes. Miss Flintstone.
Georgina.
So delightful to see you again. And Georgina holds out a hand to her, as if it should be, as if she should, get her hand kissed.
And Melly just kind of squeezes it.
Just squeeze the fingers.
Squeezes the fingers.
As Nellie is milking awkwardly Georgina's hand,
Oh, no.
Imogene
Y'all can't see the
Galloway's-
motion, but it's milking.
Imogene Galloway's butler, Jorvis, which is a real name, Jorvis comes up with a deep bow and says, "Milady, it is time for the dance to begin. The musicians are ready to begin at your leisure."
I see. Tell them to get started presently.
Of course.
But do announce it so that people have time to find partners. We can't have an incident occur like last time. You remember what Victoria did?
Madame, Victoria's not welcome back.
No, she is not.
You see Jorvis in a very proper coat and tails of a butler go up to a little dance floor area that's been laid out amidst the grass and twinkling candles in this warm spring English garden here in the evening. And he takes his little, butler's staff. What do we call that? Like a major domo staff kind of thing. And you hear 3 raps on the hardwood floors that have been laid out in the grass here, and says, "Good folk of Hampshire, it is time, if you would be so kind, for a dance." And he claps white-gloved hands, and the musicians strike up a thrilling dance, which probably has a name like quadrille or something. We decided to not play this game with too much historical accuracy, so who knows? Maybe it's a rumba. I don't know.
You're going to hear something that is vaguely orchestral.
It's a Knight's Tale style dance off.
Yes.
It might be orchestral, or it might just be whatever I could find duty free.
Great, love it. Duty free, bought it at
free,
the
yeah.
airport.
Yeah,
So now all of our young people can find partners or not. But first, the first to approach very quickly is a young lord named Grantham Gilliam, who approaches Georgina a little sweatily.
My good lady, I'm Grantham Gilliam. I've been, I hope it is not too forward to say, admiring you all night. Your shoulders are quite lovely.
Whoa. Coming in hot.
And I would be quite honored to have this dance with you this evening.
Well, Mr. Gilliam, it is very lovely to make your acquaintance, and I shall be delighted to join you in a dance. And she'll take his arm to go to the dance floor. But as Georgina starts to walk with him, she very intentional, even though he's got her arm, she's sort of leading him a little bit so that she very intentionally just brushes up against Nellie's shoulder.
Ooh.
And perhaps, Miss Flintstone, I might beg the honor of your hand for a dance later in the evening, if you should be so inclined.
Why don't we just do a 3-person dance right now? Why wait?
The scandal!
Magnus is sweating.
So is Imogen.
That would be, perhaps after, perhaps we might have a 3-way after, this, a 3-person dance after
Hold
the
your
dance.
tongue. This is a party among peerage.
Well, it is perhaps a little unorthodox, but, what better way to make a great first impression at my first ball back in town than to do something that could be seen as quite scandalous?
Let's do it.
So the 3 of you take to the floor. All eyes are on you as a new style of dance. There are rumors, titters from the crowd, gasps. Everyone is whispering behind their hands. And perhaps some think that Georgina has brought a new dance from where she has returned. Georgina, where have you come from? Where have you been these past 12 years?
Well, these past 12 years, my parents and I have taken up residence in London, so you know that Georgina is quite modern and brings some very newfangled ideals from city life.
Oh, quite lovely. Yes, everyone in the town thinks that this must be a new type of dance that you've brought. And they also know your reputation of being highly eligible, as you are a very rich, very single, pretty young woman. And so all eyes are thinking, oh, perhaps Nellie has thrown over Imogene so she could dance freely with Georgina. So the 3 of you dance. Let's see, how does it go? Is it awkward? Are you graceful? What kind of dancers are we?
Well, Georgina is a very graceful dancer because, in order to be an eligible heiress, knowing all of the latest dances is paramount to your success in the marriageable season. So she dances with the lightest of grace, passing herself between partners effortlessly, turning about on her toes, curtsying, and generally making a understated and very modest sort of spectacle of herself. It's very evident that all eyes are meant to be on her, though she doesn't do much to very actively call attention to herself, just very coyly.
And how about Nellie?
I feel like Nellie has been kind of stuck in a bad mood since the engagement was ended, and the town has kind of turned against her a little bit. So this is maybe the first time she's had a good time since that happened. I picture the engagement ended maybe a month before this. So for Nellie, this is fun. So Nellie's actually smiling and not pouting with her arms crossed anymore.
And poor Grantham is having a hell of a time. This guy was not a good dancer really to begin with, and he's not doing great. He's stumbling a little bit, and after that dance, the first dance, he kind of bows out and will watch only with eyes for Georgina for the rest of the night. But as this dance seems to have caught on, and the rest of the town is taken with it, and people are three pairing up throughout the party.
Midnight Muscadines is a cozy, dark tabletop role-playing game where light and shadow intertwine in a fractured world. Players take on the roles of marmoteers, brave adventurers who journey into the untamed wilderness to collect the elusive Midnight Muscadines, craft magical jams, and protect the fragile light of Nim. Through collaborative storytelling and resourceful gameplay, players weave tales of courage, community, and the pursuit of balance. Will you preserve the light, uncover the truths hidden in the shadows, or reshape the balance of the world forever? Midnight Muscadines is perfect for fans of Studio Ghibli and Sea of Stars who seek to capture the magic of exploration and the heartfelt adventure in a world where small heroes make a big impact. Play Midnight Muscadines as a traditional GM'd game, GMless, or even solo. Midnight Muscadines is crowdfunding now on BackerKit. Join the campaign at pandeongames.com/muscadines.
I'm Quinns of tabletop role-playing game review show Quinn's Quest, and this is Play to Find Out. Play to Find Out is an actual play podcast that brings notorious old games from the 80s and 90s back to the table. Each season of Play to Find Out, I'm joined by Emily Johnson and Rob Morgan.
Good? Nervous?
Yeah.
You both looked at each other really concerned, like you think what's about to happen is going to be unpleasant. And frankly, I think that's rude.
And together, we explore the TTRPGs of ages gone by. Our goal, to separate the TTRPGs that deserve to be remembered from those that maybe don't. I don't know, Emily. It was the 80s.
Also,
a lot of people were on cocaine. We blow the dust from decrepit systems to learn how they work. Your 100 on the encounter table bursts out. Right, you've encountered a fog. Get ready. Don't laugh.
There's one get ready for a fog.
Don't laugh. Encounter their unique quirks.
I do finger guns to cover up how I wince.
A weird thing happens as you do finger guns.
Oh no.
And I'm hoping that the Quinn's Quest community will join us in exploring these games too. If you this up, cannot describe to you how much your adventure ends here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because the best way to learn is to play to find out. Play to Find Out is available now on the Quinn's Quest Patreon, but the first episode of each series streams for free on the Quinn's Quest YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts. Anyway, you failed the Earth Tech roll, and you made jokes while I was doing my exposition, so you don't get to hear anymore.
Oh, no. Come on.
I was shook as...
As we watch this, I'm interested in how Imogene's feeling about Georgina and Nellie dancing together.
Not pleased in the slightest. Well, Georgina just invited Nellie to make sure that Nellie had an awful time, and now it seems she's having a great time. And not only that, she's dancing with their childhood friend that Imogen hasn't seen in many years, but remembers quite fondly.
Ooh.
In a romantic sense, from days in her youth where she chose Nellie over her. And she never quite got over it. Not at all.
Very interesting.
How does she turn this into her favor?
While you're thinking about that, I'd like to offer and remind our players and our audience in this game of Good Society, it's very cool because we're not only playing one character, we're also playing connections for our characters. That the players made connections for their characters, and then we switched them all up so they'll be played by different people. So perhaps some of our other characters are there, perhaps Callum Lockhart, Ignatius and Georgina's father, is there, or Daddy Flintstone, Nellie's rich dad. And I imagine definitely is there is Tabitha Burnstone, who is Imogen Galloway's second cousin on her mother's side and is always scheming for her ruin. Or perhaps the elderly and very lovely Mama Florence Fitzgerald, who is Magnus's ever-loving mama. And then also the sort of Ignatius Lockhart, Nathan's character, was when his family moved away 12 years ago to presumably make their fortune in London. Ignatius was taken on as a ward by the Fitzgerald family. So Mama Florence also views Ignatius as a sort of wayward son. So if anyone feels like one of those characters would be here, maybe throw them in.
I can say that Tabitha has been watching with great interest to see poor Imogen finally get a bit of her comeuppance and has been watching from the punch bowl, slowly refilling her drink, sipping in glee as this whole thing has been unfolding. And as most brilliantly, this three-partner dance was beginning to start, we heard a bunch of chitter-chatter, and for but a moment, there were people saying, "Oh, this is terribly scandalous." And this was just the time that Imogen walked around to each of these people and says, "Oh, no. This is what they're doing in London." And very quickly, the tides did begin to turn. Tides begin to turn against poor Imogen.
Callum Lockhart is there and is watching with glee as his daughter finds herself at the center of high society. As he was disappointed in himself for not being able to take proper care of her in the beginning of the ill fortune, and now he has the means to provide for her. So he raises his glass and says, must be something new from our hometown of London. We're from London. You know that we're from London. We're back from London, and we have money now. We have so much money. So much.
Yes, Father. Very, very exciting. She's
It is exciting.
So, Daddy Flintstone most definitely in attendance, because despite his daughter's horrible mistreatment of Miss Imogen, he is still sympathetic to her cause, because, you know, she's from a good family, and he'd like to see his daughter settled with somebody of Miss Galloway's status. So he's going to make his way over to Imogen. My dearest Miss Galloway, it is such a fine evening, don't you think?
It is as fine as can be expected, Lord Flintstone. Tell me, how have you fared in the last month since the unfortunate events?
Well, you know my daughter. She's never been one to conform with the ways of society, and it seems that she's quite eager to embrace the newfangled ways of the city folk.
That is a quite kind way of saying that Nellie bites the hand that feeds her.
Well,
repeatedly. In earnest.
You see, Nellie's not a capable sort of child. In fact, I was very delighted to see her have settled upon you, seeing as you are a woman of great fortune and with a good head on your shoulders, and so it was my deepest desire that the two of you should end up together, that you might, some of your good sense might rub off on her, or at the very least, she might have found in you a soulmate to appreciate the unusual sort of creature that she is. I love my daughter, but making her a match is quite complicated, and I fear as she is starting to get up there in years at the age of 17 that she may end up an old maid.
Indeed, I understand, as I thought that my days of future spinsterdom were beyond me. As you know, Nellie and I have been close since we were children, and I thought it would be a well-suited match between my family's standing and your family's equal standing, despite everything that Nellie does to sully it. But apparently that is not to be, and therefore I am quite disappointed. But you know, from disappointment comes new opportunity. Isn't that right, Ignatius and Magnus?
Quite, yes. Opportunity.
So, you would be absolutely delighted to join me on the dance floor, both of you, wouldn't you?
Ah, yes. This new dance craze that my sister is popularizing. I would love to partake of it.
Respectfully, I would like to decline such a kind invitation. I fear I do not know the proper footwork for this particular dance, and I'd rather not embarrass myself on the floor.
Come on, Lieutenant. I would like to spend one of Daddy Flintstone's resolve tokens.
Yes!
To try to convince Magnus to get involved in this dance. You see, Lieutenant Fitzgerald, it would be doing my family a great service if you were to partake in this new sort of dance, and I assure you that I will be able to arrange for your swift exit from this situation in which you find yourself so uncomfortable, should you get my daughter in the vicinity of her former betrothed. You see, I am hoping that she will see some good sense, and frankly, I need her to stop using my money to finance her little theatrics.
There you go, Magnus. This isn't a dance, it's a tactical operation. You'll love those.
Magnus sees the pieces connecting in front of him, that if he can get these two together, then all of a sudden the theater may kind of go away a bit. Then Ignatius will no longer be such a layabout and will become a respectable member of society. So all of a sudden he does see a tactical reason to do this. Looks down and he looks over, clocks the footwork, and kind of watches it for a moment. You see him just kind of going, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Don't feel like you need your hand forced to dance with me.
No.
After all, it's not as if I'm the most eligible person here.
I think Magnus clocks that Imogen a little bit is starting to get shown up at her own event by this whole thing. And I think there's a little, he definitely doesn't like this person, is no, thank you. You're involved. You're screwing up my brother, you and all these people who are having too much fun. He needs to be a respectful member of society. But he sees this person kind of having a rough time, and he just goes, I apologize for my initial refusal. I admit to a bit of very shameful bit of cowardice on my part, but I would be happy to accompany you, both of you. Both of you?
Yes, I'm dancing with you too.
Right. Both of you.
It's a 3-person dance.
Yes, Ignatius.
All 3 of us dancing together.
Yep, thank you, Ignatius.
And Mama Fitzgerald, Florence Fitzgerald, who's the mother of, Ignatius and Magnus, but really just biologically Magnus, comes over. She's very old, and she goes, both my boys dancing together. I love it. I love it.
Mama. And he's just trying to take the punch out of her hand that he knows is her 8th or 9th glass of punch. Mama, shh, Mama.
I love you both.
We
love
both
you
care
too,
deeply
Mama.
for you. And Mama, why don't let me get you a seat? Just here's the seat. Why don't you just sit right there?
We're going to do you proud on the dance floor.
My boys.
Mrs. Fitzgerald, why don't you take a seat and we can leave the young people to their dancing?
Ignatius, as you see your adoptive brother Magnus trying to take the glass out of your adoptive mom's hand and tell her to calm down, how do you feel about that? You're a hedonist. That's your reputation about town. You got any response to that?
My response is to try and get Magnus dancing, because it's very easy to pick up a glass once someone is not actively trying to interfere with one's drinking of it.
That has been Ignatius's motto for years, unfortunately.
I have lots of mottos.
Despite my best efforts.
That's one of them.
So we see these three take to the dance floor. Our wonderful host Imogene dancing with the cad Ignatius and the very uptight Magnus. How do we all fare on the dance floor? We've learned the steps. How do our characters dance?
I think that Imogene is struggling a bit because she has been put at a disadvantage. Whether intentional or not, she has now been upstaged at her own party by someone that she remembers quite fondly, but did show up at her own palatial estate wearing gold jewelry, being very immodest, and dancing with her ex-fiancé of 1 month. So she is not faring as well as she might.
And Imogene, I think to make matters worse, you hear out of the corner of your ear, Tabitha somewhere in the crowd going, doesn't she look just a bit off tonight? I don't know what it is, but just not quite her best, is she?
Oh, yes, she's been looking off all night to me.
I wonder if she accidentally wore 2 left shoes tonight.
Oh, Tabitha.
How can you stare at her when my daughter looks amazing on the dance floor? Sincerely, it is time for Imogene to just fade into the shadows so that my daughter can take her place among high society. I mean, she is a cornerstone, but as all stones do, she is not good at moving.
Oh, Mr. Lockhart, you're such a wit.
I do try.
And I think Tabitha heard that line about, like, stones not being good at moving and is spreading that line around the entire party. Just found the best joke of the party and is repeating it every fucking way.
I lean in and whisper to Imogene, it seems that money has not done much to improve my estranged father's manners. I wouldn't pay him any mind.
How can I not? How can I not pay it any mind? It's doing damage to my reputation.
Well...
And things were already difficult after my engagement broke up. Now I'm going to be the laughingstock of my own party.
Not if you pick up the pace and dance your heart out.
I think this is where Magnus, the whole time, has just been kind of like glances down his feet, going 1, 2, 3, and doing his best. And he clocks that Imogene is getting very upset and looks over at Ignatius and goes, Ignatius?
Yes.
Now is not the time for foolishness. Now is the time to dance.
Yes, I'm glad we can agree.
And he like slams his hand on your back, almost like straightening up your back perfectly. Leans into Imogene and goes, just count the steps. Ignore everyone else. Count the steps. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ignatius, shut up.
3.
You have terrible timing. You've always had terrible timing. You count along with me. 1, 2.
I did not know that Magnus was such a charming dancer.
Ignatius sort of like pushes the two of them together, Magnus and Imogene, and starts sort of doing like a fun, like sort of dance around them.
Georgina notices her brother doing this sort of swirling dance around.
Just really like the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man type thing.
Exactly what I was just saying. Yes.
Exactly.
It's just highlighting where to look.
Yeah.
Oh, brother, do not make such a fool of yourself. And she comes in and like escorts him away.
I was dancing.
Yes.
Excuse me, Georgina, I know that you are new to high society, but it is rude to take one's dance partner away in the middle of a song.
I did not mean to offend.
Are we doing a 4-person dance now,
Unless,
sister?
of course, are you cutting in?
Why? Yes, I am. And I just like shoves Ignatius out of the way with one arm and joins in to create a new trio.
Very good. I shall return to the punch bowl.
Thank you so much, Ignatius. You're so lovely.
This is the worst possible thing for Magnus. Now he's dancing with two people he doesn't particularly like. Ignatius, the only person he really knows and cares about this party, is trying to get to leave, is now walking very quickly back towards the punch bowl, where he now also sees his mother has double fisting punch.
Mama, wait for me.
No, Ignatius!
Have we been abandoned alone on the dance floor?
Forgive me, Miss Galloway, but my brother was really making quite a scene, and you dance so beautifully that I did not wish to mar your reputation with his subpar skills.
Georgina, as sweet as I remember, but lying is unbecoming.
I'm
not a great dancer, if I'm being truly honest.
Well,
I do my best, but I could not hold a candle to you. No.
Well, thankfully, it would seem that Lieutenant Fitzgerald, much to my own surprise, is quite an accomplished dancer, and I couldn't help but notice how lovely the two of you looked together in the dance, and I did not wish for my brother to distract from his considerable skill and your considerable beauty.
If there's one thing that you're more talented with than dance, Georgina, it is definitely in speech.
And as these pleasantries trickle throughout the garden, the music goes on for the night, drinks are had, this new dance craze has caught on, barbs are exchanged, Mama Florence is fucking wasted. She is, by the end of the night,
Mama!
My boys! The night's coming to an end, and our first novel phase of this cycle of play is also coming to an end. Is there anything anyone does at the end of the night before they go home?
I call over Jarvis.
Yes,
Jarvis, I would like you to execute Operation Number 33. Tabitha's getting uppity again.
33, right away.
Remind her of her place.
Tabitha is over by like a large cake and like all the canapes and stuff. There's this very like precarious tower of champagne flutes or champagne, goblets, and it's this like very large cake. And she is repeating over and over to anyone who will come by this great stone joke. Like, oh yeah, she is a stone, but stones they don't move. Oh, I know, but it's very funny.
Jarvis comes over with a silver platter with a lid on it and goes up to Tabitha and says,
Madame, you've received a message that will take you away from the party. Please, there's someone waiting for you in the foyer.
Oh, I hope it's not some secret admirer who's been so enthused by my lovely attitude of this evening. Do tell. How handsome is this person?
Extremely, madam, although I'm
Say
sure
no more.
you know
Say no more.
better than I.
I am quite at my leisure this evening.
and Jarvis leads Tabitha away before she can do any more harm to the reputation of Imogene.
As she leaves, I go over. Tabitha's been having a dalliance with this odd gentleman. I don't even know if he's of noble birth or not.
Scandalous.
There is a stranger in my foyer that has been asking for her, demanding her all evening. We finally just got to go to him. Like, the impropriety.
Oh, that's quite... my name is Caroline, by the way. I'm also here and a member of society. I think that's quite scandalous, and I'm as you know, a terrible gossip, so I'm going to go tell everyone that.
You should go tell them that. And also, his face looks like a stone. Could sink right to the bottom of a lake.
Oh, an uggo. Ooh, how scandalous.
Indeed, an uggo indeed.
Tabitha just feels a cold chill run up her spine, just goes, whew.
Never fuck with me, Tabitha. I keep tabs on you, bitch.
Jorvis, where is this person? Where are you taking me?
The butler's like leading her around on this wild goose chase. Where are the rest of our characters as the evening's ending?
I think Ignatius is several drinks deep, but he does his best to straighten himself out and approach his estranged father.
Yes.
Father.
My son!
Yes, if we're still, after all this time, referring to each other by those terms, I thought it
You are
would...
so cold to me.
Well, haven't...
You shall ever be my son.
Oh, well, there it is. I was merely trying to... Well, I thought I would be remiss if I didn't at least say hello and welcome you back. After all this time, I have missed you.
Your father, who is deep in his cups, just goes,
My boy! Starts embracing him. I regret that we left you behind. I know that the camp Mama Fitzgerald was so nice, but we did miss you.
Father, I don't know if it's the drink or the emotional impact of the play I saw earlier, but I am weeping.
The relationship between the father and the son in the play did mirror.
Father!
I have a question for Ignatius and Georgina. What is your mother's name?
Our mother's name.
Mother's name is
Callum's wife.
Yes. Her name.
her name. She has a name.
Florence?
Her name. Her name is Chrysanthemum.
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 That's beautiful. A lovely name.
Love it.
Yes,
And
of course.
Beautiful
can
name.
you help us picture Chrysanthemum? What does she look like a little bit?
Well, you see, we didn't really have money when we were children, so our mother is not an impressive sort of woman. She looks a bit out of place in her finery. She's still very mild-mannered, doesn't really enjoy the whole society thing. Very different from her husband, who wants to constantly flaunt his wealth. She believes that individuals should be valued for who they are and for their character, and not how much money they can offer someone.
such an odd statement. Can't understand its form.
She always was an oddball, that mother of mine.
Chrysanthemum comes up. She sees her husband deep in his cups, as you said, and her wayward son, who she has not spoken to in 12 years. She comes up and hurries Callum away.
No, Chrysanthemum!
She breaks off the embrace.
My darling boy, I can't bear to be away from him for another minute.
Oh,
Please.
Mother, what? Hello, Mother. It's good to see you as well.
Hello, young Mr. Lockhart. Please, Callum, come away. I have taken a chill.
And she leads Callum away, very coldly, barely acknowledging her son, not even calling him by his first name, only calling him young Lockhart. She also gathers up Georgina as they depart the party. Is there anything Georgina wants to do before she leaves?
Yes. Do excuse me one moment, Mother. I shall be right along.
Don't take too long, darling. Your father is not feeling well.
Oh, father!
Callum.
I shall move with the utmost haste, Mama. Okay, so Georgina is going to seek out Nellie. Oh, Miss Flintstone.
Yes.
It was so lovely to get reacquainted this evening. I do hope that you will call sometime. You know, my family has quite a lovely estate, and I was thinking that seeing as we are new to town, so to speak, that it might be very pleasant if we hosted a picnic at our estate.
Georgina, I would love to do that, absolutely. And I'm also looking for a stage to put my next play.
You hear Magnus in the background.
Maybe we could have that picnic and talk about that.
Why, I'll do you one better. What if, at this very picnic, we debuted your newest theatrical piece?
Imogen faints.
I would like that very much. We'll be putting on the play The Queen's Lunchbox.
The Queen's Lunchbox. Why, it sounds so fascinating. I mean, just the very word box. It leaves so much for the mind to wonder about.
Yes, it's fascinating. I've been working on it for 2 weeks.
Well, I shall propose it with my papa at once. I am sure that the very idea of it will just delight him.
Georgina, it was really nice reacquainting ourselves.
Really nice indeed, Miss Flintstone. Though I must pay my final respects to our lovely hostess this evening, Miss Galloway. I wouldn't wish to offend her, of course, by putting your play up at our estate, but I do so think, especially given the fact that my brother is so inclined to enjoy theatrical performances, I do think that it truly is the perfect match.
Well, I've got an idea. We do need a male lead. Perhaps Ignatius would be interested in starring as the lunchbox?
Again, Magnus from the background.
No! I shall propose the idea to him at once.
Ignatius is like on his knees, just going, Father! The lead in a play, you say?
Yes, Georgina's gonna run over to where Ignatius is. Ignatius, I must be quite quick, as
sister.
Mama and Papa have said that we must depart, but
yes,
I have
so soon
an idea that I think could bring our family back together.
Oh, that sounds...
You see, Miss Flintstone is desirous of a new venue to perform her latest piece, and she is very much in need of a man to take on the leading role, the titular role even, of the box in the Queen's Lunchbox, and has proposed
Queen's Lunchbox.
Perhaps
Yes.
you might be up to the task.
Oh, my dear sister. That sounds absolutely perfect. I shall be the boxiest lunchbox that ever graced the stage.
The matter is settled, then. I shall pay my respects to our hostess, Miss Galloway, and I must to Mama and Papa at once, but do send a letter or a messenger or something. Oh no, I will send my lady's maid to you in the morning so that we might make all of the arrangements. Goodbye.
Lovely.
As she scurries away to catch up to her parents, she runs by where Imogen has fainted.
Jarvis is desperately has managed to revive her slightly, and it's everyone's. I think Imogene is kind of known to be a great hostess, and also not unknown to have a fainting spell,
not at all,
whether real or feigned.
I would actually love it as Imogene faints. I would love Magnus to be there to catch her.
Ooh.
I love that.
Grabs her, kind of pulls her up, and brings Jarvis over.
Jarvis.
Try saying that without a southern accent.
Jarvis. I can do anything in a southern accent. Don't you tempt me. I can do it.
I said try not saying in a southern accent.
Try not to. Well, that's a different story there. He looks at Jarvis and goes, "Jarvis, my man, some water, quickly."
Yes, right away.
Miss Galloway.
You're not looking with Nellie together.
Miss Galloway. Shh. Calm yourself.
Yes.
You must.
You caught me. You caught me.
You've had a bit of a surprise attack laid upon you tonight.
I suppose that's the way of putting it.
Some of your tactics this evening were interesting to me, especially how you dealt with that Tabitha woman I happened to see. I'll admit, this is not my personal cup of tea, as it were, coming out to this, but that did intrigue me. It seems that you and I might actually be at similar purposes.
Whatever do you mean?
It seems enemies around you on all sides are conspiring against you and seem to be pulling my brother deeper and deeper and deeper into his layabout ways.
I will say the social battlefield is just another type of battlefield.
So I am understanding. Thought your footwork tonight was very good, despite what others may have said.
It's so kind of you to lie, but...
I am a gentleman, miss. I do not lie.
I see.
I say what is true and what is on my mind, and what is on my mind right now is that alliance between the two of us might be advantageous for all.
I see. Well, that can certainly be arranged, Lieutenant.
The better part of planning is improvisation, and I see one of your enemies coming now. As we see Georgina kind of running over.
Oh, Miss Galloway, I'm so sorry. My parents, they have said that we must depart in great haste, but thank you ever so again for your invitation this evening. It was truly a lovely party. You're a most gracious hostess, and I do hope that you and I shall be seeing much more of one another now that we are living in town again.
Imogene starts sweating again. Certainly. I will be no stranger.
Excellent. I do hope that is so, Miss Galloway. Oh, I'm so sorry. My mama, I see her. She's...
Georgina?
She's very anxious to go. I'm terribly sorry about my father making a scene, but I do hope to see you again. Perhaps you'll call for tea.
You know, that is a lovely idea. Perhaps I shall.
Then we shall consider the matter settled. Goodbye.
And as the cold pleasantries and warm music both echo into the night, we hear the metronomic sounds of carriages driving off into the distance, shepherding these members of high society back to their not-so-humble abodes in the first rays of the English dawn. For even in the olden times did folks party all night long. And it is in this way that our first novel chapter is brought to a close. And that's going to take us into our reputation phase, where we look at how everyone's reputation was affected by that first novel chapter. But before that, I'm gonna take a piss.
You're gonna take a piss.
I'm gonna take a piss.
Taking the piss.
So now we'll move on to our reputation phase. Let's start with I think we got a good sense of our characters in that first novel chapter section, but let's go around and talk about our reputations. And I'd also like to take this time, just for transparency for ourselves and for the audience, to talk about our characters' desires. In Good Society, every character has a desire that drives them, that is at the heart of their actions. So why don't we start with Persephone, and she can tell us about Imogene Galloway's current reputation and her desire, and then we'll go through each character, and then after that we'll talk about what reputation tags we gained recently.
So Imogene's reputation is that she is the best host in the town and one of the best patrons of the arts, and that sort of gives her an advantage there. However, there is a bit of a rumor, negative counterpart to that, where people are saying that the reason that the engagement was broken off with Nellie is that secretly Imogene's a harlot and is cavorting with actors on the side.
Scandalous. And Imogene's desire.
Imogene's desire as the Cornerstone is to confess her feelings to those she loves before she has to take over all the family's business and all its organizational details, and before a marriage is arranged, because despite the fact that Nellie made the unfortunate choice to break off the engagement, incredibly stupid on Nellie's part, because I'm great, there will be another, and it will be soon, because I'm 19, and, another year, another second close to spinsterdom. In fact, I'm almost there. I can feel it knocking at my doorstep. My family will arrange something.
Once you hit 20, you're truly spoiled goods. And remember that, everyone listening to this podcast, you're knocking on 20's door. You better get all your shit together.
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
so delightful
opportunity
to
after
play
that.
someone that's older than me.
Next, let's go to Nellie. Let's hear about your reputation tags and your desire.
Yes, hello. My reputation tags, of course, the positive. I'm sure you already know. I am a true artist and the town's entire source of entertainment. I don't care about this new Eustace, whatever. I really am superior as a playwright. I do have some negative reputations that I can be both selfish and cold.
As I think we've maybe seen a bit already by greeting everyone. What?
Yes. My desire, I want to recover from the scandal of breaking off my engagement with Imogene. And really, this is just so that I can put on my plays and people will come see them. And also pay money to see them. And
Excellent. And Ignatius, how about you?
Yes, I may not be the best host in town, but I do have a reputation as being throwing a very good party when I do. And unfortunately, as mentioned earlier, I do have a bit of a negative reputation that I may be in a bit of financial trouble because I am what we in this time refer to as a gamer. I like to play various games. I spend a lot of money betting on those games and buying the expensive rare cards to play those games. And my desire is to reconcile with my estranged family, which I was beginning to do until my mother abruptly put an end to that. So still trying to fully reconcile, but I'm glad I got a moment of catharsis with my father.
Yes, your mother being one who prizes great, not wealth so much as personal standing, sees you as quite a cad. Let's go to your sister, Georgina.
Yes, well, Georgina has just returned to this town after 12 long years of absence, and it is her greatest desire that she should make good on her childhood promise to marry her friend Nellie Flintstone. Amongst the town, her reputation is that of a highly eligible young heiress. Though she was poor in her childhood, she's now from quite a wealthy family and has a dowry of £60,000. However,
Which is a lot.
there is a nasty sort of rumor going about that her family came into said money through nefarious ways.
Oh, scandal. And, Magnus, let's, capped off with you.
Magnus wants for just one thing in the entire world outside of himself, and that is for Ignatius to finally rise to his potential and get off his lazy, if I may say, ass.
I think it'd be arse here.
Arse. He has been a rival to me ever since he became a ward of my family. A brother, yes, a brother, for sure. But since my mother has deemed it to be so that he is the favorite, though not her own child, I would at least appreciate if he put in the effort that I do and make himself a respectable member of society. Largely because of this, the town, as it were, sees me as being very capable, very upstanding, if not a little bit uptight. And, I think I'm okay with that.
I should also mention that the people I'm in love with are Magnus and Georgina.
Yes, Imogen is in love with two people. Her old childhood friend, Georgina, and Magnus. Very handsome.
Georgina's testing it, though.
Yeah. So now we're going to go around and pick new reputation tags for our characters. And I think we can kind of collaborate on this. Let's talk about it.
I would really like Magnus's to be that he is like very light of foot and that he's a great dancer.
Yeah,
I think that works.
Yeah.
And I think it's that everyone else is saying that like it's a positive for the town. He sees it as a negative. He's like, doesn't want to be associated with it. He thinks of this as like, this is tactical footwork. This is not dancing. This is not art. This is practiced maneuver. And anytime someone mentions that, like, oh, we saw you at the ball last night, you were lovely, he's like, you don't understand. This is very precise footwork. This is very similar to the fencing forms. And then talks to them for like 10 minutes about different fencing forms in foil, saber, and epee.
I think that due in part to one Tabitha Burnstone, Georgina has gained the reputation of being a trendsetter.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
Nice.
so too.
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Do we get a positive and negative one, too?
If I remember correctly, I think it's just whatever
happened.
occurred. Yeah.
I think Imogen should get the reputation of easy to overshadow.
Oh.
As a rumor, thanks to
interesting.
Tabitha.
That's going to be a negative
Yeah.
reputation tag.
Definitely.
Sort of a meek character, which is not necessarily good for someone who's the cornerstone of their family and expected to take on the family fortune. Things are not going very well for Imogen. She's been
No.
dumped. She got upstaged at her own party.
On the other hand, Tabitha is now known as a likes to go after low-bearing fruit. So, and is seen
Yes.
as, what's a good word for slut besides harlot? I don't want to be known as the same one.
Oh, trumpet.
Strumpet?
Or a slattern. Can she be a slattern? She's a slattern.
Strumpet. Which are all good things we know in the real world, but
Yeah,
in high
absolutely.
society.
I am famously a slattern.
But Imogen, you do know that Tabitha has a way of bouncing back.
I know that Tabitha has weight on her back, actually.
Wow. Oh, snap.
Ignatius, you had a great outburst that caused the scene between you and your father, and then your mother escorting you away.
Yeah, that was a little embarrassing in retrospect.
Yes, I think you might have a negative reputation tag added to it of being sort of unpredictable, making a scene. What do we think?
An emotional drinker.
Yes, emotional drinker. So let's say, okay, in addition to gambling debt, maybe you're unable to hold your liquor.
Yeah, it's like I'm supposed to be a fun drunk, and now it's like I'm being all melodramatic. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for a party animal.
When you see Mama Fitzgerald right next to you, who's double fisting and has like glasses all around her and is like pretty much fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
By comparison, you look really bad.
Yeah.
I do think that, due in part to the emotional outburst of both her father and her brother, that Georgina's perhaps gained a negative reputation tag just associated with the behavior of her own family.
Yes, I think totally. So that would be, sort of, you're still very eligible, but maybe your family. Unclassy family.
Trashy family. There you go.
Trashy family.
It's really the Bennetts. That's what it is.
For Nellie, I feel like Nellie is two things. One is manipulative. Using, obviously, Georgina, her generosity to get a place to hold her play. And then also dedicated. Like a nicer, like, I will put on my art will continue.
No matter what.
Will dedicated work, considering that you've just left me.
Dedicated to her art.
Only to my art.
Yes.
I wonder if I can think of a positive one for Imogene. Did anything good happen to Imogene at that party?
Love a lover. I
don't
know. Well, I made the secret deal.
I was going to say, I think that at least in Magnus Fitzgerald's eyes, she's quite the tactician.
Yes.
It is. Yeah, it's like cunning, but like just for Magnus.
Cunning.
Yeah, okay.
I think cunning is a good word.
Cunning.
Sure.
I'll take cunning.
Okay. A cunning linguist.
Yeah. And
duh.
This might be a stretch for Ignatius, but like if I'm gonna be starring in the upcoming play, am I a rising star? Is there a little
you definitely are.
Little bit of buzz about me? Maybe it's like, oh well, he's emotional, but he's an actor, so.
I love that the small town of Habershire, very far removed from London, but still with its own buzzing society, is really just like so diehard into community theater. Like they fucking love it.
Theater
so into it.
It's a theater town. You love to see it. Okay, so now we're going to get, now that we've got our new reputation tags, we are going to get into the rumors and scandals phase. Now, everyone's going to go around and create a rumor or spread a rumor that they'd like. And these do not have to be rumors that your character is making up. We're kind of playing the Greek chorus right now. We're saying, what rumors do the town think? What does the town of Habershire think about these folks? Also, this being a Jane Austen style story, it's highly encouraged to maybe make a rumor that's perhaps not beneficial to your character. Perhaps. And then perhaps they could be inspired by the new reputation tags that we have. So anyone can just jump in and spread a rumor.
I have one. I think that Wandering Eyes at the party may have noticed towards the end that after the dance, Magnus and Imogene were not only talking, that Magnus caught her. And that maybe the potential town harlot, under the guise of being the Cornerstone, has started to seduce someone only a month after her engagement had failed. Perhaps it wasn't just that Nellie did not want the engagement. Perhaps it was something that Imogene did. And maybe Magnus isn't as upstanding as he seems.
Yes.
So
I
the
love
rumor is
that. That's
Imogen
so
is
fun.
trying to seduce Magnus, and Magnus is maybe not as good as he seems.
But also maybe Nellie had a reason to break off the engagement that wasn't just self-serving.
Oh, that's good to help you get your reputation back.
Yes.
Recover from the engagement. Okay,
So
very
perhaps
interesting.
Nellie was trying to help Imogen a little by not telling everyone the real reason that the engagement broke off.
Maybe the second part of that rumor is like if we can increase them, right? We can magnify them or something like that.
You can spread
them.
Yeah, you can spread
So
them.
as a spread point, maybe it's that Nellie has more propriety than people thought because Nellie isn't talking about what's going on.
Ooh.
I love this, and I
That's
want to
good.
spread that.
In a game with longer sessions, we do another rumor and scandal phase at a later time, but because this is a one-shot, we're just doing the one, and these rumors and scandals are going to help propel us into the rest of our story, and we can use them as idea generation.
So, along those same lines, while we're talking about this ill-fated engagement between Imogen and Nellie, Georgina seems to have showed up at an awfully convenient time after the two of them have split, and it was well known that Nellie and Georgina were quite close when they were 5-year-old youths.
Yeah.
So it seems that perhaps Georgina is an opportunist who has returned just in time to swoop Nellie away now that she's suddenly free from her obligation to Imogen.
And that kind of works out because Nellie is known to be a dependent. She doesn't have any money of her own. She's totally reliant on her family. And Georgina, being from New Money, is in a position to marry whomsoever she chooses.
Ooh, can I spread another one? Do I only get one? I mean, can I start another one?
Sure. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, this one I want to put forward that after Eustace's play, that Eustace's plays are far better than Nellie's plays and seem to be getting some attention from the London stage.
Ooh.
Perhaps
Ooh.
because of connections that no one knew about.
Wow.
Oh.
Wait, but I do want Nellie to be good, though.
Well, these aren't true. They're just rumors.
They're rumors.
Okay.
They're
It's a
not
rumor.
true. And I will say, Imogen is the one actually spreading that rumor.
Oh.
Imogen is doing it.
Ooh.
Can I heighten that a little bit and say that there's a rumor that like London theater critics are possibly going to be coming to
The Queen's lunchbox.
the Queen's lunchbox?
Yeah.
Yes, the rumor has spread about town that at the picnic thrown by Georgina, now a rival host to Imogen, there will be the premiere of a new play, and there is possible talk of London theater critics coming to see this. Scandal. Very scandalous.
I think that sort of a combination of sort of my various goals and reputations compounded with my emotional outburst at the play, that I think there's a rumor going around that I'm only trying to reconcile with my family because they have money and I have debts, and I am just trying to secure my inheritance.
Ooh, I like that one.
Is it-
I'll spread that one.
Okay. Reconcile with family because of debts. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm interested, is that true?
No, I think that, I mean, maybe a little, but I think Ignatius is a very emotional person, and just seeing his family back in town has brought up a lot of feelings, and he's tried to bury his emotions in a life of frivolity and leisure, but seeing them all here again has made him want to have a real connection with them.
Hmm.
But you know, a little money to help pay off debts wouldn't be bad either.
Reputation. It is difficult to build, harder to maintain, and surprisingly easy to break. Take care to guard yours, dearest listener, or you might just find yourself on the outside looking in. Will these members of high society heed such a warning? I couldn't begin to guess. But whenever the Dawn finds its elite filled with this much passion, there can only be one of two outcomes: unparalleled success or unprecedented scandal. And I, for one, will be entertained either way. Ta for now.
Hey all, it's Brian. Real quick before you go, if you like this show and you want to support more great seasons, you should head on over to patreon.com/myfirstdungeonpod and jump into the Dice Pool. That's the name of our one and only Patreon tier that's just $5, where you'll get additional actual plays and extended talkbacks each and every month. We'll see you there. Splash! If you're hearing this, that means you listened to every last second of this episode. If you're not caught up yet, that's great, because then there's plenty more to listen to. But if you are caught up and you simply can't wait for the next episode, then you should head on over to patreon.com/myfirstdungeonpod and become a member of the Dice Pool. For just a few bucks a month, you'll get cast talkbacks, original games, and a full-length bonus actual play each and every month. As of the end of 2023, there is already over 20 hours of bonus audio, plus a whole bunch of other goodies to enjoy. So head on over to patreon.com/myfirstdungeonpod and jump into the Dice Pool. We'll see you there.